Hi. So today we are going to see one another very simple automation. But first question that we always think of is that, hey, what do we even automate, right? How do we know whether any process or a workflow is even automatable? So over there, we have two ways to do that. Number one, framework that I pretty much use when it's about brainstorming what all we can do, right? So here what happens. So I'm on this particular site, zapier.com/use cases. Over here, you can find all kinds of automations, right? For example, marketing, lead management, sales, tickets, customer support, and everything. The moment you scroll down, you'll see like, hey, okay, I can create maybe some performance dashboard. What if I have something like over here? This is the some sort of a report that has your reach, Zoom attendees, my Shopify sales, and my ChatGPT sentiment. So this is like one way to look at it. Also, you can just keep on switching here. For example, let's take lead management, like the first point of entry or the biggest volume that happens is in your lead management for let's say there's any vessel. Let's take this example, right? So what if we let's say we are using a Calendly link that we have put link to our calendar, and anyone who books a meeting through that, let's maybe add them into Google Sheet, for example. We don't have a CRM as of now, but you can also use this with a CRM. Let's use a Google Sheet to keep it very simple. So let's try this out. Now, number one, so let's say we have narrowed down our use case that, hey, this is what we want to do. So think of it in terms like when this happens, do this. Every automation works on two things. Number one, it has to have like a very clear trigger, and number two, it has to have a certain action. Okay, if this happens, then this should happen, right? So for example, when a new meeting is booked in my Calendly meeting link, add an entry into my Google Sheet, right? Something like that. So in that case comes to a second method of finding use cases. If you do not want to find use cases, or if you're, let's say, already having, or or you're already dealing with certain apps at your work, you can just search for those apps. So number one, I want Calendly, so let me search for Calendly. So this is how we check the feasibility of the automation that we want to try. So there goes Calendly. If I scroll down, you will be able to see triggers over here, because Calendly is a trigger when a meeting is scheduled. So over here, let me load more. So these are all our options: event cancel, invitee created, new routing form submission, invitee no show created, invitee cancel. Invitee created is the one, for example, triggers when an invitee schedules an event. So over here, anyone who comes to, let's say, my Calendly link, whenever they are booking any meeting, this will get triggered. So number one, our trigger is all set. Lastly, we need to check. We need to connect this with Google Sheets. So again, there are two ways. You can search for Google Sheets separately, like we did for Calendly, or what you can do, there's also an option over here when you scroll up. It's called search for pairing apps. What you can do, like I can already see Google Sheets over here, meaning people or Zapier users in general connect Calendly with Close, Lead Connector, Webbox. These are CRM, Slack, Team Chat, ClickUp, another PM tool, Outlook, MailChimp, Google Sheets, or Active Campaign, and there are more. You can keep on exploring. I think I saw WhatsApp. Yeah, there's WhatsApp as well. So you can explore this, but let's just click on Google Sheets. You can see again, same language. When this happens, do this. So let me try invitee created. Um, Create spreadsheet row, like nothing else is required. That's it. Very, very simple, right? Let's take an example. I have an empty spreadsheet. Let's first also check out what do we need to actually save, right? So in this case, what will happen when what all information is coming? So firstly, we are done with the steps, right? What you can do, just simply click on connect these apps. We do not have to go through like go to Zapier, open, create news app, and do blah blah blah. This is all done. So you have like a base draft to get started with. Number one thing I'll do before I come to what I was speaking of earlier, let's check out. So invitee created, trigger event is set, account is correct. Click on continue. And you can read which plans does it apply on. I am on standard, so it should work for me. I have created user, and then the event type, I'll select the meeting link that I have, and I'll simply test the trigger. This will come, this brings us to the second part of it, where we need to understand what information will flow. We have connected the apps. We know what apps will be there, right? Next thing we need to know is what information needs to flow. What information is coming in when we are actually, when any lead, for example, is trying to book a meeting. Number one, we'll get their email address. Number two, we'll get their name. Or number three, we can also have certain questions. So this is how you can check it over here. Let me maximize. So you can see we have the cancel URL invitee created at, when was the time when this event was created or the lead booked the meeting, email of the lead, and all this URLs and everything you can skip for now. We have the name of the invitee, and I have put one question in my link. Please share anything that will help prepare for our meeting, which is pretty standard. So over there we have the answer to the question that the lead has provided. So that is all that I need for now, right? So basically what I want, invite email, let me just copy this and let me open my spreadsheet, and let's say this is our basic simple normal lead tracker. Let's just actually call it simple lead tracker. Over here we can have basic columns. For example, your invitee email will come over here. You do not need to copy paste it exactly. We can map it any ways you want. I'm just doing it for the example. We put the name of the lead instead of invitee. Let's just call it lead email, lead name, and lead inquiry. Let's just call it message, and let's just all lead created on. Simple. We have these four. This can come over here. This can come over here. And that should be enough. Let me just tease it for a bit. Awesome. This is more than enough that we need. Let's come back to Zapier. And okay, we are satisfied with the example. Let's click on continue. Now, we have understood the whole package that comes from Calendly whenever you are booking any meeting, whenever any lead is booking a meeting with you. Now, what will happen? We are creating a spreadsheet row in the Google Sheet. Click on continue. First, we'll have to select a spreadsheet over here. I will select simply tracker. The worksheet is sheet one. I do not have multiple sheets over here. This is fine. I use time zone. This is something you can ignore for now. So now I'm seeing all my four columns that I have in my Google Sheet. Over here, lead created on. What do you need to do? Click on this text box and you'll find this plus button. Click over here and let's find the time. This is the event start time. You can also search over here. I want when they actually scheduled it or when they actually filled the form. In that case, scheduled event time wouldn't help. We do not have. How about date? This one, invitee created ad. So in Calendly, invitee is a person who's actually booking the meeting. In a sales lingo, you might call it a lead, and which is the same over here. So we have the date, right, and the time as well. Now we need to find the lead. Similarly, you can find all the information that you need, and then you can map it. Everything that is coming from Calendly needs to go to our Google Sheet in which column. Therefore, we are mapping that. So we need a name. We click over here. Then we find lead email. Same process. If you're unable to scroll, it's too much, you can just simply search over here. I search for email. I have the invitee email, and then the leads message. There's also a shortcut. You can press this particular slash key, and this box automatically pops up. What you can do, you can find the message over here, questions and responses, one answer. This is the answer Bruce has provided to us, that hey, this is what I'm looking for. I'm not sure we can help Bruce, but okay. Let's click on continue. You can test once over here. Click on test step, and I'll open my Google Sheet, and I have the lead created on time, the lead name, email, and the message. This hardly took any time. Let me first publish it so that we can test it. Awesome. So this is live. Let me do one thing very quickly. I'll open my Calendly link. Yes, let's say we have, and we won't even open our, we won't even open our Zap. Let's pick a time over here. Let's do 11 a.m. next. Name, I think we already have Bruce. Let's add Barry Allen. Okay, this could be anything, automate phasing through buildings, for example. Let's check it out. Schedule event. So this is your lead filling in the form that you have over here. All of this is fine. We can just close. And then if I go to my Google Sheet, I see the entry over there. So this was a very simple workflow that we automated right away. In this case, what you can also do, in case of Calendly, you can have your, let's say you have HubSpot meetings, or if you're using any other meeting tool, you can have that. Secondly, in case of Google Sheets, you can have your CRM if you're using HubSpot, for example. If you're using Pipedrive, if you're using a bunch of options that were coming earlier, I think it was Close or something. You can use any CRM over here. You can, if you want to check what all apps are available that you can actually automate, you can go to again zapier.com/apps, and you can check those out over here. You on the left hand side, you will be able to find a bunch of categories you can find. Let's say in our case, we want to find a CRM that Zapier supports. For example, let's click on sales and CRM. Over here, you can click on CRM, and there you go. Salesforce, Zoho, CRM, Close, Circle, Keep, anything you want to find. I do not see HubSpot. Before I scroll, let me just search real quick. There you go. So you can see there are like 1,000 CRM tools available in Zapier, right? Yes, so that is basically it, and this is a very simple automation we tried. This is extremely simple because we have not added anything. What more you can actually do? Next time maybe we can add. Let's say for example, we have the lead's email. Let's maybe and the name. Let's maybe do a Google search and try to find more about that particular person and do some research on our end. For example, whenever you, let's say I walk up into a meeting, and if I do not know anything about them, right, about the lead, it might not backfire a lot. It might not be like a negative thing, but if I know something, right, that would be a plus point. If I'm able to, let's say, even if I'm able to figure out what time zone they are in and adjust my greeting accordingly, if whether should I do good morning or greet them in good evening or something, so that could also have certain impact. So this is how you can actually figure out use cases by either which function you are in or which team do you belong to. Over there you can see, hey, what are certain sales operations or workflows I can actually automate. What is something in the project management area I can actually automate. You can feel free to explore. I'll drop the links below. And similarly, you can come to this particular page and search for apps. So number one is your use case first automation building. Second is your app first automation building. So number one, we try to understand how will the process look like. Like we broke down our process. When a lead books a meeting on Calendly, we add that entry in a Google Sheet. That is a very simple process, right? In that case, we need, for every app, we need to understand what is the trigger, what is the action. Are those triggers and actions even supported? If yes, then you're then still you are like 60-70% there. Rest of the stuff is basically what information you actually need to be flown, right? For example, let's say I want to figure out what is their location, what was their latitude or longitude when they booked this meeting, right? Then that is some information that is not coming over here, right? So if you want to search something like that, that won't be helpful. But of course, like you can come over here and try to find any, for example, it's open pipe drive. You can find any triggers and actions. Just scroll down. You'll find all the triggers and actions over here. You can also do one more thing. If you still want to figure out, hey, what could be done? These are all templates that are available over here. These are all, I believe, these are community driven. So Zapier users create Zaps and they create templates that you can, feel free to use. For example, add new Pipedrive people to Google Ads custom list. This is one thing that you can try. Add new Pipedrive people to MailChimp subscribers. Pipedrive people is nothing but, your sales leads. That's it. So yeah, that is all for today. Hope this was helpful. If you need any other use case to be covered, feel free to comment and we'll see how we can, cover that use case as well. That's all for today. Thank you.